Well, hello everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. There is a ton of people out there watching, so I figured why make you guys wait any longer than you have to. Drop in chat where you're from, say hi, let me know how everything is going, and if audio is good and lighting is good, I am very excited for today. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. And if you didn't know, we're going to be talking about the Oxygen Builder 3.8 Beta 1 that just dropped today. Really excited about this. And I was going to say that, I think I mentioned, if you guys watched the stream yesterday, that I haven't been feeling very good. So if you hear weird stuff in my voice, that's fine. That's what it is. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Minnesota. I see Amanda, Kyle, Vicky, John, Netherlands, Ecuador. Wow. All over. This is amazing. Brazil. Super, super awesome. Love seeing all you guys. Audio is good. Perfect. Amsterdam, Germany, UK. Amazing. So good to see so many familiar faces. Kenya, Tel Aviv. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Denmark. Super, super cool. Sweden. So many places I want to visit. As soon as we are able to get back out in the world, that is where every place that you guys just mentioned is where I want to go. Dustin says he's in Nashville. That's not far from me. I'm in Florida. So you're probably the closest to me right now, unless there's a dude from, I apologize, Chris. There's a dude named Chris from Tallahassee, St. Augustine. Awesome. Absolutely amazing, guys. Super, super stoked to have everybody here. So like I said, what we're going to be doing is going over the 3.8 beta today. So I already have an Oxygen sandbox set up here with the beta installed. I have my typical suite of plugins. We're probably not going to use all of them. We're definitely going to go through something in ACF Pro, which is super exciting, which I will get back to in a little bit. Let's see. Some comments in chat here. So if you guys can, what helps me tremendously and has been really fantastic lately is if you can drop a like on the stream here. It does help me a lot. Doesn't cost you anything, and I certainly appreciate it. So please consider dropping a like on the stream. Amanda's in Ireland. Welcome. Super glad to have you. Good to see you. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So let me know if the text and stuff here on the screen is too small. I can zoom in a bit more. It looks okay on my side, but just want to make sure everybody can actually see this. Now, of course, if you already own Oxygen, you do get inclusion into the beta. You can go ahead and just download it there. And let's take a look. So I'll step this up one more. There we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's actually readable. At least it looks like it is. So elements in the structure pane now have drag and drop handles to the left of the element title. So that is pretty cool. We also updated the library that handles the structure pane drag and drop, and you should find it's much smoother and more predictable. Let's go put that to the test. So I'm just going to go ahead and load up this site-wide template that I have. And this is, I'm pretty sure, the material design light that you can get, the design set that I put together. I guess it's been a few months now, but basically, oh yeah, look at that. So there is new explicit handles right there. So we should then be able to drag pretty much anything anywhere, which with a layout like this, let me make sure you guys can see this. I wish there was a way that I could like zoom this stuff. Is that better or worse? Like if I zoom that in, does that look any better so you can actually see what I'm doing? Or does that make it look like more terrible? Vote zoom in or not zoom in chat. I want to make this stuff a little bit readable because I've watched these videos back sometimes and then it's a little bit clunky. So anyway, there's these drag and drop handles and you can see that I can move this stuff. So I think, I can't remember if I had the most difficulty with moving things up or down in the structure panel, but there definitely was a challenge one way or the other. The other thing was trying to like move elements around and sort of getting them, unnested or hide the left-hand side. I don't think I can do that. Somebody said, maybe I can. Anyway, like if you're trying to unnest something, so let's take this footer for instance. It was typically pretty difficult to get it out without pulling the footer like all the way up here and then putting it back down. So let's see if it belongs right here. So I can take it one step out, and then I want it to come out one more. Maybe it can't. Almost. Come on. Okay, so then it's going to go out of the div. So maybe it's still not perfect. I don't know exactly what the limitations are of the drag and drop, but it does look like if you have a nested layout like this, you do have a little bit more control. I was at least able to get it out one step, which is kind of interesting. I saw somebody said that an empty section is sometimes difficult. So let's toss in a section real quick. So it looks like it's possible to move it wherever you want. That's pretty cool. It's honestly pretty seamless from what I can tell so far. I still definitely had a little bit of, difficulty with the left and right. Just click and hide button on the upper left. Oh, right. Yeah. Good call. I'm actually in the way over here. So let me move this. Sorry if my face was in the way of some of the stuff I was trying to do there. I was just trying to move this section around a little bit. I did notice there was handles on everything else too. So like if you see this section over here in the top left, it also has that explicit handle. So you can't actually click the name anymore, which I think you could do all of this. You could do this entire section before. Kyle, I appreciate you being here. My resident troll. Yeah, buddy. Would be great if we could mark an element and move it with arrows on the keyboard, says Thomas. That's actually a great idea. That would be very ideal. Let's see. So looks like you have the drag and drop handles on everything. How is drag and drop in the actual builder interface? Doesn't seem to really have been changed. I really didn't have difficulty that much with dragging and dropping in the actual builder. I need to zoom back out because it's kind of hurting my brain as I'm trying to look at this. So like if I was trying to take, let's say this heading, and actually I need to get something inside this page content. Let's just pop in a section. Oh gosh. Oxygen is not happy right now. Or maybe it's just my computer. My computer is a pile of junk. No, it's actually not. But I am waiting for whatever MacBooks come next. So anyway, back to the point at hand. What I wanted to do was get some content. On canvas, drag and drop is unchanged, says Elijah. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, so it does seem like our drag and drop in the structure panel is definitely a bit better. Cool. I'm going to call that one explored. That's neat. All right, so what's up next? We've added an offset option for built-in smooth scroll script. Sweet. So let's go to our settings, global, under scripts, smooth scroll to hash links. So scroll time is what was already there, so like 400 milliseconds. Scroll offset is perfect, can go up to 1,000 pixels. You, I guess, can't change the amount, which, I don't know, it's probably not that big of a deal. Kyle says, my $100 is so safe. No, it's not, I promise. And then I don't know if maybe there's some limitation or maybe there's no reason that you would need a scroll offset in anything other than pixels, but it looks like you can go in intervals of 100 from 100 to 1,000. So that's probably good enough. I guess you could type in a number too. Yeah, you can. I didn't think about that. But yeah, so you can type it in all the way up to whatever, probably. You could go 10,000. Yeah. So because you can just type it in, you can do whatever you want. All right, so actually I'm gonna slightly move myself. Oh gosh. I always click the wrong thing when I'm trying to move stuff in OBS. Holy crap, there's 82 people watching. That's nuts. That's amazing. I don't know. I think this might be the most watched stream ever, potentially, which is pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. Okay, so that one's pretty self-explanatory. So basically the scroll offset would be there for like, let's say you have a heading, or excuse me, like a header that's like, 80 pixels high or 100 pixels high. And when you do the smooth scroll to a heading, it covers up the heading because, it goes to the very top edge of the page. You can just basically make your scroll offset like 125 pixels. And then when the smooth scroll happens, then of course it's not going to cover up your stuff, which is pretty sweet. So that one is nice. You could definitely do that before with just some basic CSS, but now you don't have to do that, which is very welcome indeed. Next up, we've added, can you use negative offsets? Good question. What happens if I type in -125? I'm not sure if it actually works. So let's set this section to like a minimum height of like, let's go like 2000 pixels or something. And then I'm going to add in another section with a heading. And then this heading, I'm going to copy. I am going to make this link here go to that particular heading. And then let's see what happens. I believe that's all I'm going to need to do. Let me change the background color of this ever so slightly so I can see if the negative works. So maybe something more like -250. Let's try that. So then front end, click on home. Oh, my page isn't tall enough. Hold on. Let's make this one minimum height 1000 pixels as well. Save this. And then refresh home. Yeah, it looks like it does work. So then, yeah, looks like it does work. Then what happens if I change this to 250? Does it push it down? It might actually be too much. So this might not work just because of the page content. And once again, I got to click home. I think it's my design set is screwing this up. So it looks like it works from obviously extremely basic testing, but it clearly accepts that value. So it seems like it should work just fine. All right, so what was up next? Custom HTML tag option for any element with selectable tags. This allows you to do things like visually build HTML lists using divs and text simply by changing their HTML tags to OL, UL, and LI respectively. Sweet. Okay, so let's go. It is 100% my fault on that, Elijah. There's no doubt. Let's go back to, man, I have a dirty looking builder here, y'all. So inside of this section, let's see, there's the typical tags that you had on a section. So these are all handy, of course, like if you're building a header, making the div use the HTML semantic tag for header or footer is definitely a good idea, both from SEO and, like we learned yesterday, for accessibility as well. But you can also use a custom tag. So, oh yeah, that was kind of confusing. I didn't immediately realize that this dropdown switched from section to the word section, and then I could actually just type in something. So I am actually not going to change this section. I'm going to pop in a div, and let's change this custom tag to, let's go with OL for ordered list. Then we'll go with a text element, and it actually already puts the indent there for us, which is kind of neat. And then we would just change this tag to LI. And then if I just duplicate this, it makes the ordered list for us, which is super cool. So then if I just duplicate this and change it to UL, then it's got a bulleted list. So that's kind of neat. This is going to be useful for like building tables, I would imagine. You could build HTML tables, pretty much anything. Actually, this is a good example down here in this footer. These code blocks in this design actually called for an unordered list with a particular class on it, which I couldn't do at the time. So now I could go ahead and make that happen. So yeah, cool. Easy enough. Just another thing for you to take advantage of. Galleries now remember selected images, allowing you to remove images from a gallery without having to reselect all images. So this one is cool because I would typically use ACF galleries for the reason that when you would come back to a gallery, it wouldn't remember the photos that you had selected, which is pretty frustrating. So let me show you, like if I just were to select these, actually I can't show you now because it's fixed, but essentially what would happen is if I selected these photos, created this gallery, went about my day, then came back to the gallery and browsed, then these or actually I think I had to click add to gallery, and then those weren't there. So these are actually taken out of the media library? Yeah, it looks like they are. So it does remember it, which is cool. So we'd have to stick in a couple more, and yeah, there they are. So that's perfect, because what I ended up having to do before was basically just copy the image IDs, and then I'd have to go look at the new images I wanted to add, stick in the image IDs, because otherwise I had to go back and figure out all the images that already existed there. So that was definitely something that was frustrating, which, like I said just a minute ago, is exactly why I would use ACF galleries pretty much every single time, because it was just easier to manage the gallery through ACF. But now you don't really have to worry about that. So that is one of those things that's like just a great quality of life improvement to have. So yeah, that's it. Perfect. So you can now lock selectors in Advanced tab of Properties pane, perfect for preventing unwanted or unintentional changes on anything like utility classes. So this exists in a couple of the design set frameworks out there, like that's definitely in Oxy Ninja, and I would imagine probably in some of the other ones, like I get so confused with all the Oxy everything, Oxy this, Oxy that. But anyway, if we delete this, let's take a look at like a heading. So then how does this work? Oh, okay, so it's in Advanced. So lock selector styles. So you could do it to the ID. And then I think I do have core installed on this site. So if you were to go to like C margin bottom M, did it actually add the margin? Yes, it did. I'll just stick in a little text element there so we can actually see it. Do I then go, okay, so it's in Advanced and then lock selector styles. So then none of that is accessible. I do like that it grays out because it makes it perfectly clear. That's kind of neat, actually. And then you could still go back to the actual heading itself, or excuse me, the ID of the heading, and then stick the stuff in there. So yeah, perfect. That's neat. Pretty simple, but class lock is definitely handy, especially if you're building with framework classes, you know, things that you don't want to change no matter what. And then instead you would just, you know, basically build on top of that. So actually, I am curious, with the locked class now, if I add this to another element, is it locked on that one as well? I'm imagining yes. Yeah, it is. Cool. Okay. So that's really handy. I wasn't sure if it was like element unique or if it actually applied to the entire class. So perfect. And then of course it's not going to apply to the ID. So again, I can switch that stuff. Cool. Got a question in chat that says, Elijah, if you are in a locked class, the settings panel on the right is also locked. Is that intentional? I'm assuming he means this stuff here. The settings panel on the right. I'm not sure what that means. The lock is very neat as well. Kyle, I promise you, you've lost the bet, dude. You don't even know what's about to come later. Just you wait, buddy. 93 viewers. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Well, actually, it says 101 down there, and then up here it says 93. That's seriously insane. That's actually insane. I'm like blown away. That's nuts. I'm just so stoked that everybody's here checking this out. So if you haven't already, click the like button on the stream, please, and subscribe. I noticed there's quite a few people that watch my channel that aren't subscribed, so please consider doing so. It does help me tremendously, and I really appreciate it. Kyle says, got a meeting in 5 minutes, so I guess I'll miss it. Turns out I win the bet, buddy. Go ahead and ship it on over. You can send that through in a super chat, please. I would appreciate that very much. So, Taylor says, can you recap new features in a minute? Sure. Elements in the structure pane now have a better drag and drop. So you can see over here in the structure pane, we have a better drag and drop. There's explicit handles now, so you can't drag it based on, you know, anywhere on the element itself. You have this drag and drop. So it does work much, much better. You can actually get things where you want them to be now pretty reliably. You can get things nested. Oh, there we go. I'm making a liar out of myself. I guess I can't stick a link wrapper inside of a link wrapper, which is why I'm having trouble there. So heading inside of that link wrapper or take it right out. you know, you can sort of de-nest stuff. So it seems like it's much easier to use. Offset for built-in smooth scroll, go to settings, scroll offset. There you have the pixel option right there, and you can just type something in for smooth scroll offset. Custom HTML tags, so everything now has a selectable tag. You can go to custom tag and change it from H1 or section or header or whatever. And then of course you can make list items with that. You can make tables. And then the gallery now remembers your photos that you had in there before, which is pretty cool. I mentioned I used ACF galleries because it was just so much easier. Then you also have locked selectors as well. So you can lock selectors just like class lock in something like Oxy Ninja. You can do it to both an ID and a class, which is great. And then what was the last one here? So, oh, basic text area input in the properties pane for non-rich text elements. So I do like that. I want to put this tag back on H1. Excuse me. But you can see we now have a content field over here to manipulate headings and text, which is actually great because like sometimes you would have an element that's not visible for whatever reason in your layout. Maybe it's set to display none, or you know, for some reason maybe it's behind an element and you can't quite see it. It gets lost and you need to change it. This is really awesome because now we could just say welcome to the live stream. And then we can manipulate the text there, and then when it pops back up, then of course the heading is changed. So there's a million use cases for this particular thing. And this again was in a number of plugins, which I just think is great to finally see it in core. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So that one is definitely handy. It said for any non-rich text elements. I imagine, I don't know why that would be, but I don't really use rich text all that often. In fact, pretty much the only time that I would use rich text would be for ordered lists and unordered lists, but now you don't even have to do that. So David asks, any ideas how this interacts with Oxy Toolbox, which has same feature? No idea, to be honest. I don't imagine it would. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. That will be up to Sridhar and team. Loving the better structure drag and drop. That was one of the most annoying things. Absolutely. Completely agree with you there. Okay, so there's a bunch of enhancements, tweaks, and fixes as well. So added offset option for built-in smooth scroll. We already saw that. We already saw all those enhancements. So the tweaks. Code mirror library used in Builder Code Editor. I wonder if there's anything actually visible for us to check out there. Is it to do with the editor themes, I wonder? Doesn't actually look any different. So I'm assuming it's not really anything visible. Yep, not too concerned about that. So updated Dragular for structure, pane, drag and drop. We kind of already touched on that. Updated views for the add search. So I wonder if that means that search is more accurate for things like text. Because I think there were certain elements that you would type in like, I can't remember. I would do it fairly often where I like wanted a text element, and when I typed text, then suddenly it switched to text link and I would put in the wrong thing, for instance. I can't remember exactly what that was, so hopefully that's what fixed that. Removed unused new selectable script and jQuery UI sortable script. So I think the jQuery UI error message I get on the permaslug site like pretty much every time I load it for some reason. So that's a nice one to have. I got a question in the chat. Can you try the class lock thing? Please lock a class and go to upper right, manage and settings. Oh, okay. So this is locked. So manage settings. Oh yeah, I see. Interesting. So all of those global settings are locked as well. I suspect that's not actually intentional behavior. I feel like that's a bug, because those are global settings. That shouldn't apply to the class that you have locked. So I think Elijah's in here. I'm sure he's probably going to add that to his list. So there we go. There's my contribution to the Oxygen beta test. And actually that was called out by Shai Tegal. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Elijah just confirmed that's a bug. Yeah, definitely seems like one. Cool. So let's see. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So updated setup wizard button styles. I don't really ever go there, so I'm not sure what was wrong with it. Corrected issue where design set option meta box was text with black on a dark background. Got it. Composite elements now load over HTTPS. That's awesome. Added is not equal to operator to dynamic data conditions. Perfect. So let's take a look. So if we go to condition, I don't actually know that I have any ACF fields. Oh, but I guess it could be any dynamic data. I was thinking specifically for ACF. Let's go with just some random. Oh, weird. I wonder why there's 2 scroll bars here. Is that to do, sometimes this, this material design code that I use causes weird bugs in Oxygen. Let me check and see if that is to do with this. No, so it looks like we have another, maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to hard reload. But I do have 2 scroll bars here. What I wanted to do was just find, here we go, faker pressed flag. Let's do that. Cool, so we have a bunch of new operators here, right? Or was this always there? I don't feel like there was this many operators for the dynamic data conditions. It says added this one, but I don't remember these ones being there. Unless maybe it's because I chose one that's not specifically an ACF field. So probably worth checking that out in a little bit, because we are going to look at something specifically in ACF in a bit. So yeah, so dynamic data operators do look like there's some more options, which is great. So that one is definitely going to be helpful. I definitely have wanted that particular operator before, but I haven't been able to do that until now. Okay, so general CSS updates for Oxygen admin screen, installation wizard, and design library screens. Cool. Didn't know if there was anything particular that was broken or, you know, could be improved. Let's see. Anything in the settings? Oh, whoa. The settings panel looks completely different. Well, not completely different, but it looks different for sure. It's not just like the plain Jane WordPress stuff. It's kind of on brand, as they say. There's a new shortcode signing learn button here. That's kind of interesting. SVG, typekit, license, CSS cache, bloat, library. Interesting. So does the template interface look any different? No, that's all the same. So it's the back end of that. So interesting. Okay, that's kind of cool. Back to this. Okay, so I probably need to zoom out a step here. Oh no, it just has to side scroll. Corrected incorrect buffer termination that caused issues with third-party plugins, not applicable to most of us. Grid default settings should now be visible when editing a class. Let's see. So let me actually go back and get my whole stuff back here. Yeah. So grid default settings. Let me unlock this real quick. Is it talking about the layout options? Maybe it's for a div that has a class. Oh yeah, I think it is this, because I don't think this was there before. Unless I'm mistaken. Not sure exactly what that means. Moving on. So this is a big one. This one is kind of one of those things that's sort of hidden in plain sight, but this is big, and we might end up spending a little bit of time on this. So have patience with me, because I promise this is worth it. So it says corrected advanced query logic to allow it to process comma-separated strings as arrays for some queries. So this is going to take us a little bit of setup. I am going to get rid of this entire template, and let's go back to Oxygen. WordPress. We are going to actually create an ACF relationship field. And for those of you guys that have been waiting for a long time, some of you actually stumbled across a page on my website talking about relationship fields in Oxygen. And I was actually working on a plugin that would let you do this, which I have since stopped, because once the 3.8 beta came out, I knew that this was coming, and now today it's actually possible to do an ACF relationship field directly in the oxygen repeater, thanks to the advanced query functionality that showed up in 3.8. So if you're not familiar with what the relationship field is, let's go ahead and take a look. Actually, we might not want to do this just yet. Let me think about the best example here. Actually, you know what? Let me switch screens real quick because I might have a better demo site already set up. So yeah, give me just a second here. There's going to be a much better example that will be more clear. So logging into Cloudways takes forever. People complain about the Oxygen Builder load times, but I complain about the login time to Cloudways. Okay. So let me get into this install real quick. It's funny, you can see my mouse, but not the other screen. All right, so plugins. Let me go ahead and delete this. I'm going to delete this. And then 3.8 beta 2. Yes, they are extremely powerful indeed. So Digital Ambition. So that is, I think I've seen your channel. You've been doing a bunch of oxygen stuff lately, and I'm stoked to see that. I forget your name though, dude. I'm sorry. I'm making this up, but is it Kevin? I apologize. I've seen your videos, but I'm excited to see other oxygen YouTubers. So welcome to the party. All right. So now let me, how the heck do I switch this over here? Here we go. All right. So we're in a different WordPress install now. So let's take a look. Yes, Kevin, I thought that's what it was. So basically the ACF relationship field is extremely powerful because what you can do with it is if you have two custom post types, let's say authors and books, you can connect them with a field that then allows you to tie those posts together. So like, think of it as like an author sort of like post relationship where you want those posts to be tied back to an author. So you could have a button that says something like view post by this author, and then, you know, it goes and spits out the whole list for you. So let's take a look at this real quick. I actually have two different relationship fields here because these, I had some, you know, other thoughts. So basically this is a relationship field. And for this particular case, I only want it to show the book's post type. And then this is showing up on the post type of author. So basically what we can do is go to authors. I have two here. So J.K. Rowling and then the poker player Tom Dwan, but I don't actually think he's an author. Maybe he is. Edit. Dude, Kevin, thank you so much. That's extremely kind of you. I really, really appreciate that. $10. That's, I mean, you didn't have to do that. That's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much. First super chat of the stream from Kevin. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate that. So if you haven't checked out Kevin's channel, Digital Ambition is the one. Go subscribe to him as well. I'm stoked to see, like I said, other oxygen YouTubers out there. There's quite a few of us now, so it's super exciting. All right, so let me back up here because I do have some content in these relationship fields. So I want to make this a little bit more applicable. So basically, with the relationship field that you have set up, what you can do is choose books by this author. So this is going to have every book in the book post type. So let me go over here real quick. And you can see I have a few made up ones, how to win at poker, how to win at winning, then a few not made up ones like Harry Potter, and then a few test books. And so if I look at these, and let's say I'm under the J.K. Rowling one, then I would choose Harry Potter, and I think there's another Harry Potter one here. Yeah, so then I would go to update. And then the other thing is you can make up a million use cases for this. You could have like let's say speakers and events could be tied together, like you know, brands and their products. So there's a million different use cases for this. And before now, you had to hand code your loop in a code block in Oxygen, which was possible, but it was very clunky. So, well, not clunky, but you know, it was somewhat difficult. So now what we can do is let's go to Oxygen templates. we're going to go to singular, and I had some stuff in here, so I'm actually going to wipe out this entire template, and we'll start over here. 15! Oh my gosh! That is incredible. You guys are too kind. That is amazing, Leanne. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. You guys are just so generous. 113 people! 115! What is going on? So incredible. I'm like shaking over here. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice. It's just so incredible. And to have that many people watching, I appreciate every single one of you. If you're listening, thank you very much. The money is just the absolute icing on the cake. So thank you so much. You guys are incredibly generous. So Rin, what's up, yo? Good to see you. Stoked to see you here. Thank you for joining. It's kind of wild what's going on today. Yeah. Amanda says no pressure. William, hello, welcome back. 118 people. I don't even know what to say. It's really crazy. Party! Yeah, this is super, super wild. All right, let's see. No pressure at all. You guys are right. This is actually by far the most popular stream ever. I think the most I've had before was like 78, maybe? I don't think we ever crossed 80. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it was 78 was the most, and now we're at 114 or 115. Absolutely crazy. Really, really amazing. So obviously we're just sitting here chatting for the moment. I meant to say earlier, this is going to be kind of a hangout stream. I don't really have like a serious time crunch today. So hopefully you guys don't, because I ain't going nowhere. So what I was getting at was coming back to this singular template. So basically what I've done is just set this oxygen template to apply to the author singular. And then let's just go ahead and edit it. Sandy says, great to see the fun community. Joined Oxygen team. Awesome. Glad to have you. David says, enjoy the live streams. I've noticed that Oxygen version numbers are highly correlated with the length of your That's funny. With the length of your hair. So, funny story. Before COVID, I would get, well, maybe it's not funny. It's funny to me. But I would get a haircut like every 6 weeks, usually. 8 would be like really bad. But now I've gotten one haircut in the last year. So I'm back to like my middle school days. I'll find a picture for you guys at some point. In middle school, I had hair that was like down to my shoulders and it was curving up. So that was always fun. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna pop in the section with the heading and we're gonna make this the post title, which in this case is J.K. Rowling. Let's do another section here. And we are going to, how do I want to do this? I'm going to just add in another heading that says like tag of H3, and we'll say books by this author. Oh, that's weird to see it typing in the content field as I'm typing in real time. Yeah, Rin, you know the deal. Quarantine hair is the best hair. You're totally right. So add some margin under this guy. We're going to go with a repeater, and we are going to work with an advanced query. So I can't remember exactly how to do this off the top of my head, but I will figure this out. So essentially, we're going to go to Edit, Query. Let me make sure you can still see properly over here. I just had a weird pop-up on OBS. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so we're going to go to Add Query Parameter. So we're going to go to Post, where is it? Post type is book, I believe. Book or books? Books with an S. Okay. And then we're going to add a parameter. And then I'm pretty sure we want to go with the post in parameter. And then it's advanced custom field. And then books. Oh, wait, no. Books by this author is the one. And then I believe we just want to go with a separator of comma and then the object ID. Can't remember off the top of my head. I have it written down, so let me go take a look here in just a second. Actually, I'll just do that right now so I don't get it wrong. Make everybody wait a million minutes. Videos. Where is it? Where is it? Directory. I had it written down. What is PR? Sorry. Appreciate everybody's patience. This is going to be worth the wait, because this way you don't have to wait a million minutes. Crap. I don't know where it went. Let's go back. Whoops. Okay, so it's post type, post in, and then there was something else. Was it post per page? I don't think you actually have to do that, though. I don't think you have to go post per page. Page name, I think that's all you have to do. Let's go ahead and just try it. So we'll do this, and then apply query. Yes, perfect. That's all you have to do. So we will put a text element here, and then we're going to go to post title with the insert data. Look at that. So obviously, just like the repeater has for millions of years now, it has kind of an incorrect first div. But if we save this real quick and we go look, then it's correct on the front end. So those are the post titles from the ACF relationship field. Again, if we go edit this author post, then these are the 3 posts that were in that relationship. So it gets even better, of course, because you can pretty much put everything inside of that, including like an image element. Another one. Thank you so much, Darwin. Another $10. Absolutely incredible. Thank you very, very, very much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, another shout out for Digital Ambition. I'm definitely stoked to see his channel. Really awesome. And then data would just be the post featured image. I don't actually know that these posts have a featured image, not all of them anyway. And obviously these are not like the actual images for these books, clearly not. But if we were to go back over to these, you can see these little images right here are the actual post featured images. And those are what shows up on the front end when we refresh. Pretty freaking incredible. Yeah, William, thank you for the call out to like the stream. Really appreciate that, guys. And gals, every single one of you. Appreciate you. The donations are absolutely incredible. I can't believe that. Really appreciate you guys. So this gets even better. So now we have the ability to create these relationship fields in Oxygen, which is going to be incredibly powerful. But like I said, it gets even better. So what we're going to do is now go to our author archive template and go even further. So again, I'm going to clear out my template so there's nothing there. And let me go make sure that the other author has some books attached to him. Yeah, so there is 2 there. So this is perfect. So what we're going to do, Kevin says, oh yeah, Jonathan, nice seeing a fellow Floridian. I have family in Destin. Some of family lives there, used to live in Niceville, beautiful area. I went to my cousin's wedding at Eden Gardens. Awesome. That's super amazing. Yeah. So I lived in Destin my entire life, actually, and very familiar with Eden Gardens and Niceville and the whole area. So that's awesome. Probably other people have vacationed here as well. So what we're going to do is go to section. We are going to go with a heading that just says something like all authors. Let's stick in another section and a repeater. This one we don't need to change the query on because of course we only have, we're already in the Oxygen template, so there's nothing to change. So what we're going to do is go to insert data, post title, which is going to be our author names. I am going to go with 40 pixels of margin beneath that. Everybody from Nashville goes to 38 on vacation. Yes, they do. You're right. Everybody in this region definitely comes down here these days. So this heading, oh, no way. That's super awesome, Kevin. congratulations on that. That's the story for most people, is they like to come back year after year. I don't blame them. So underneath this heading, we are going to add in just a simple text element. Again, I'm not going to spend any time on styling here, but with this text element, we are just going to type books by this author. And we're actually going to nest another repeater inside of this one, which is pretty dope. This works. So we are going to essentially do the same thing we just did on the singular post type. And actually, I think there might be a little bit of a bug here because you can see it just keeps spinning. But if we save this and then refresh, I believe it works. It's going to make a liar out of me. Question popped up. I think I missed it about MetaBox and like pods and all those other ones. Jason is right that I do have the ACF lifetime deal, and I think a lot of people do have that, but I have been interested in MetaBox, although the brief look I did into it, it just doesn't integrate with Oxygen as nicely, so I just didn't have a reason to spend much time on it because ACF just works so flawlessly. Now this is going to make a liar out of me, unfortunately, because this did work. What if I remove that one, save this? I'm going to save that and try to refresh again and then add it, because I believe this works. At least it should, because I tried this before and it didn't quite work because that fix that I mentioned to you guys earlier wasn't actually in place yet. Maybe I need to just have a little bit of patience. So I'm going to just let this ride for a second. We'll see if it pops in. Hopefully Elijah's still here because maybe he can shed some insight as to whether this is possible or if I'm pushing the bounds of what's possible. I know that nested repeaters did work before, so I'm not sure if maybe something changed or perhaps it's like a bug or something like that. Doesn't really seem like a bug because that's a pretty complicated thing, having two nested repeaters. I can't select that stuff though. But it does exist in the structure panel. It's like it wants to work. And it lets me save. I wonder if it's visible on the front end if I were to go to authors. Oh wait, no, is it just author? No, it's with the S. I might not be able to get to that template while it's saving here in Oxygen. There's seriously 120 people watching right now. That's just absolutely mind-bending. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Super kind of you. Maybe I won't get to show you this. I swear this worked before in my testing prior to this beta 1. In the alpha, it totally worked. So I don't think it's an environmental thing here in terms of like PHP versions or anything like that, because nothing's changed between now and then, or at least it shouldn't have, I guess. Anyway, let me just briefly explain what I was trying to do here. So basically, I was trying to nest repeaters, which, like I said, I'm like 98% sure you can do. And then with this second repeater, we were essentially going to make the same query that we did on that singular template just a few minutes ago. So it was going to be, post type is equal to books, and then post in was going to be that ACF relationship field. And then you can have, like on your archive templates, you could have, like a list of all your authors, and you could have a little sidebar that says books by this author. You can make all those hyperlinked to the correct post. So the relationship field is incredibly powerful. And like I said before, you had to basically code all that by hand, which was possible, but it certainly wasn't easy, that's for sure. I wonder if I like blew up my whole site here. Hopefully not. Oh, wait. Did I actually have archive equal true on the authors? Maybe that's my problem. I guess Oxygen would have warned me about that. Yeah, it's on. I'm bummed because this worked. I know this worked. Come on. Everybody cross your fingers. Please. Please load. Please. Come on. Come on. Dang it. It would have already loaded by now. Oh well. That is hashtag sad face. Oh well. But anyway, you guys get the point. Maybe that's something that they can address. I will ping Elijah if he hasn't seen this to see if he can get that to work. Because I actually have a video in my course on nested repeaters. I know this works. Flipback says only 50 more seconds to load. Yeah, probably so. I'm actually going to leave this as is. And then, oh, Jason says, did you already set the, I assume you meant query for the second repeater? I did not, actually. I want to try that real quick. Bryn says, nested repeaters are much more reliable if you insert only the repeater components, configure their queries, and then play around with other components and rearrange things. Oh. Well, let's just try it real quick. Let's go to post type is books. And then the post in is our ACF relationship field, which is books by this author. Comma, and then post object ID. Save that guy. Hopefully it'll kind of work now. Oh, I probably should have clicked the apply query button. Oh, we're making progress. Yes, let's go. Thank you, Bryn. That intrigued me to actually go set it. Or who said that? It was Jason. Thank you, Jason. But both of you guys actually helped contribute to making this work. So this is exactly what I wanted to happen. I'm glad we persevered. I almost moved on. So text here, and then insert data, post title. It's a little bit slow, like the repeater always is, but it works. Uh-oh. 502. Please work. I think this should work. Let's go. It works. So let me actually make some adjustments here so we can kind of see what's going on a bit more clearly. 15 margin, and then this repeater, I'm going to just indent a little bit to make it a little bit more clear. And let's give this some breathing room. 5 pixels of padding all the way around. And then you could take this text, you could convert it to a link. Then you could go to data, permalink, and now those are going to link directly to that author, which is super sweet. Jason says you have the job of thinking, doing, and talking. Yeah, it's definitely true. It does add some pressure, especially when there's 120 people watching. That's absolutely insane. I've said it a million times, but it's hard to believe. So you can see now these, yeah, Elijah's sweating with all the stress test. Probably so. I'm always messaging him like, I found this bug. And he's like, this is how you're supposed to do it. And I'm like, oh, so it wasn't a bug. It's just me. Keyboard, problem exists between keyboard and chair. So as you can see, now this is the nested repeater in here. And with that, we now have direct links to those posts. So you can see I'm on the author's archive template, and I now have a direct link to these individual posts, which is just amazing. I, of course, don't have a template set up for the book's singular post type, so there would be nothing there if I click on it. But just to prove the point, it does take me to that particular layout, which is just super, super awesome. This is something that I have had requested probably in terms, I don't keep a list of like what's the most requested, but in terms of just like my intuition, this was like #1, which is why like I said, I was working on kind of an add-on for this. But now that it's possible in core, it's just the possibilities are just absolutely endless. So yeah, that was a long one, but I told you that you know, it was worth the wait because relationships are incredibly powerful. And if you have ACF Pro, the fact that it now can work inside of Oxygen is just really, really great. So for Kyle, if you're watching this back later, this wasn't initially thrilling because like I said, I was working on that add-on, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Took a risk and it didn't pan out. Let's go back to my other screen here. So I need to switch back to OBS and go back to this one. All right, so let me move myself slightly over here. And then where were we at? So we were actually only on 25. Geez. So next up was Corrected issue where built-in smooth scroll script caused auto-scrolling to WooCommerce tabs. I never experienced that. I don't do a whole lot with WooCommerce, to be honest. Corrected issue where register condition taxonomy ran on every admin screen. Not from me. Computer Initiative says, hello, greetings from Sri Lanka. Welcome. Glad you're here. The other thing that I saw as well is that Rank Math, I forgot to mention, Rank Math now is working directly with Oxygen content. I was curious, for everyone watching, if you can share with me what SEO plugin you use, I would be really interested to know if the Rank Math integration is exciting or what SEO plugin you use specifically. I'll give you guys a second to drop that in chat because I am very intrigued to know that. Rank Math, says Leanne, Yoast, SEO Press, Yoast, Rank Math. So lots of Rank Math users. Wow. Number of SEO Press users as well. I wasn't sure what the popular one was. Angela says SEO Press, SEO Press. So it seems like there's a pretty even division, or, you know, plenty of SEO Press users, plenty of Rank Math. I'm going to have to check both of them out because for a long time I've used the one that comes with the WP MuDev subscription smart crawl, which works fine, but it doesn't have a lot of the fancy features that Rank Math has. So for those of you guys that have said, you know, one or the other, what was the determining factor that made you choose one over the other? I think there's a bunch of people that said SEO Press and quite a few that said Rank Math as well. SEO Press just works. That's why I stuck to Smart Crawl. It's so easy. I just didn't have to do anything. Just turned it on and configured page titles, and that was it. Price and compatibility, that's totally valid. We just broke 141 people. That's absolutely insane. I'm seriously, I've said it 500 times now, but I'm just like absolutely blown away. 140 people is just pretty ridiculous. Thank you again to every single person that's watching. Squirrely SEO, AppSumo, agency licensing for SEO Press Pro, Yoast gets expensive. Gotcha. Ease of use, features, and price for SEO Press. Okay. Really good to know. Thank you, everybody. So corrected issue where new Rank Math integration broke template assignation. Is that a word? Assignation? Oh, wow. Learned something new today. Thanks, Elijah. And then corrected jQuery UI conflict that caused appearance of search box in builder and media selection to be broken. That's actually a, that's a really common one that especially like in the Oxygen Facebook group, I'm sure you guys have all seen the questions pop up. Why is there a search box on top of my add button? Because it would basically pop up like, oh, I don't actually have the builder open anymore, but it would pop up like right over the upper left where the add button is. And now that's fixed, which is pretty cool. Corrected notice WP scripts localize was called incorrectly. Just another, bonus there. It looks like we have two fixes. Corrected issue for edit only would make changes to a class when disabled. Okay, that's a quality of life improvement. That's good. When your most popular live stream is an update walkthrough, I know. Absolutely incredible. Riding the hype wave. Let's see. Disabled IDs should now work correctly. Perfect. Advanced query, get the author ID call to get author meta. Corrected misaligned color selector button in Firefox. Corrected display issues with slider controls and properties pane in Firefox. That was one that made the slider look weird in Firefox. It had like a weird white background behind it. So I think that's what they're talking about. So that's fixed. Corrected invalid CSS output for flex child. Changed left right to flex start and flex end. Cool. You can now use a global color for the toggle elements icon. Why couldn't you do that before, I wonder? That's weird. Doesn't seem like a very big issue. Corrected add elements typo on the edit menu page. Gotcha. That was game breaking, unusable. Glad they fixed it. Corrected issue where setting link URL using dynamic data from ACF email field resulted in slashes after mail to. Perfect. That was an annoying one. So that's nice that that's fixed. Corrected issue where dynamic data author pick ignored specific size. Cool. Radii typo. Corrected issue where setting a site's URL that was different from WordPress. What does that say? Broke Oxygen. Got it. That's nice. Switch to in-queuing PhotoSwipe CSS and JS instead of using link and script tags. Cool. So that should reduce the wait time and page load speed and that sort of thing. Corrected issue causing error when list of options for condition value contained a duplicate. Cool. Dynamic data and conditions dialog should now scroll when overflowing content is present. So that's kind of what we saw before. With the, what was it? Advanced query, I guess? Or no, it was the condition screen that had a little bit of weird, like overlap issues. Heinrich says, you're now also a public speaker. Well done. Thank you. Okay, where was I? Recoverable fatal error, fix an error. That's good. Now only register 16 levels of shortcodes. API is probably for the Oxygen plugin devs. Optimize the shortcode signing process. I wonder if it's faster now. That'd be cool. Corrected issue where date condition did not work for logged out users when the value was set via dynamic data from an ACF field. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. So number 50 here. I had this happen where a client and I were setting up something so that a particular element went away after a certain date, which worked for me in the back end because I just tested it based on, the current date. But then I set it live and then she called me that day and she was like, it's supposed to be gone. It's still up. And I was like, oh, the condition was still there. And so I'm assuming that's why it didn't work. So corrected PHP error if menu spacing padding was left blank. Got it. And then unslider is not a function. That one is something I saw a few times. I think we might have even seen that on stream because I was trying to edit a slider and make it like a thumbnail slider, but I don't think we ended up doing that. Corrected issue where gallery rendered via inner content element in a template caused photo swipe error. Dynamic date should respect the format. Improve modal overflow. Focus behavior. I wonder if that applies to the video that Kevin Digital Ambition did. I don't know if that made any difference. Improve modal overflow. Oh, we already said that. Corrected issue where adding or selecting a widget element resulted in code mirror. Interesting. Okay, so the final three are just like quality of life improvements. So as you can see, absolutely massive list of fixes and optimizations and changes. So I think this is a really good indication of what we're going to see in the coming, weeks and months with Oxygen. This is, after all, just the beta. So a lot of this stuff wasn't even present in the alpha. So a huge swatch of changes and, updates and stuff. I think by far and away, the thing I'm most excited about is if I switch back over to this other screen, like you guys already saw. By far and away, the thing I'm most excited about is the ability to do relationship fields in Oxygen. Actually, what I wanted to do real quick, now that I've shown you this, I wanted to actually go create a relationship. And actually, maybe for the sake of not blowing up the entire site. Well, no, it's not going to make any difference. So essentially, I am just going to, oh, can you not bulk delete ACF field groups? I guess not. I didn't know that. I'm going to delete those field groups and let's add a new one. So we're going to go to, we're just going to call this field group like books, books by author or something like that. So then we would set our post type is equal to author. The position will be high after title. And we'll create a field here, what we'll just call this, again, like books by this author. Our field type will be relationship, which I believe is in the, it's in the relational. That makes sense. So relationship. You can, of course, turn it to be required if you want. And you can also filter by any post type on your site. So you could essentially just pick out every single post type that you wanted to be selectable in this particular relationship. And I know I didn't show this just a minute ago or earlier when we were working on this, but when I tested it, I was able to do two different post types. I did books and posts and it worked perfectly fine, which is cool. some pretty complex stuff when you think about it, like what's actually happening there. So we have nested repeaters with 2 different queries. Then that query is pulling out of a relationship field into another post type. That's crazy stuff. So, you know, imagine trying to hand code that, and now you don't even have to do that. It's pretty cool. So again, we want to filter this post type by book. So we only want the relationship to be able to pull out books in this particular case. You could even take it a step further and filter by taxonomies, but in this case, there are no taxonomies on my site. Your filters, you can choose post type, which of course would be applicable if you chose more than one post type. Taxonomy, I don't need either of those. And then earlier I did have the featured image selected. You can go ahead and change this other stuff if you want to, minimum and maximum post count, maybe if you want there to be a maximum of 3 selected, which actually probably makes sense for something like, you know, like a, what would that be? I don't know, maybe like featured dishes for like a restaurant or something like that. And then you can leave it post object, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and save this. And then if we go back to our authors now, we'll just edit one of them. And funny, I think I actually, I named it exactly what it was before, so my posts were already there. Yeah, it was. That's actually really funny. So now you just go ahead and select the posts that are applicable to this particular author. You can rearrange them if you want to, and that's going to manipulate how it appears on the front end in Oxygen, which is very handy. Update that, and now your relationship field is populated. So like I already mentioned, you know, it could be for things like events and speakers, or like, you know, events and like the location that it's taking place at. Another one would be like in a WooCommerce store, if you have like a brands page, then maybe a brand has a particular taxonomy tied to it. You could connect those super easily. What else? Trying to think of other use cases. There's a million of them out there. The one on the ACF site is like for doctors, you know, like team members and doctors and that kind of stuff, having like multiple locations and where they're going to be. So that's definitely a good one. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are excited about the relationship field, but I certainly am. Taylor says, can you try integrating future ACF date field in the query? I probably will, but not today. Digital Ambition, aka Kevin, says relationships for business websites relate reviews to specific services. That's a, yep, definitely. Relate specific service to specific service areas. Right, yeah, so another good one, like if you had some services that only a particular location provided, for instance, or, you know, like a certain geographical area. Robert says, thank you to the Oxygen team for bug fixes and new features. Very excited about the custom query updates. Me as well. Custom queries are pretty awesome. I don't really think anybody has even kind of scratched the surface of that yet. There's just so much you can do with it, and my mind kind of goes blank when I start to think about all the possibilities inside of it. If you haven't already, I would absolutely appreciate you guys dropping a like and a subscribe. If you haven't, like I said, done that already, I greatly appreciate it. And let's see. I wanted to go back real quick, and why isn't it showing up in my dashboard over here? Let's see. I wanted to go back real quick and just thank Darwin, Leanne, Kevin, aka Digital Ambition, and then, yeah, I just can't thank you guys enough for those donations. Absolutely amazing. Flipback says, I'd like to see more content on ACF relationships. That will absolutely be coming in the future. Since the alpha dropped, I had the sense that this was coming, but the way that it worked is before it only pulled out the first post in that relationship, so it only output one, but that's what that fix was that I mentioned. So it takes a comma separated string. So, you know, I was putting the separator as comma, and then now it's just filling in all the IDs for us. So before that wasn't possible, but now it is. Amanda says, well, it would be great to have a feed of use cases for this feature. That's a good idea. We'll work on that. Relationships have been something that have been exciting for me for a long time, but it was just a little bit too complex, I felt, to, you know, go putting like a you know, sorry, something in chat distracted me. To go putting like the stream froze in OBS. Hopefully it didn't actually freeze for you guys. Let me know if it died or out. We still live? It's skipping over in OBS. I wonder if it will pick us back up here. You're back now. Oh, okay, just a few seconds. All right, cool. My internet is like half decent, but I'm surprised that it sustains itself for as long as it has, especially like on those 3 and 4 hour live streams. I think we're good though now. So I'm gonna switch back over real quick to the GitHub link, the Oxygen Builder list now, and take a look at this. So I am interested to hear from you guys what you're most excited about with this update. So we had the smooth scroll, drag and drop, HTML tags, gallery update or fix, I guess it really is, the class and ID lock, and then the text editor along with all the other stuff. So what are you guys most excited about? I'm interested to hear. I've been chatting, I've been talking at you for an hour and 15 minutes now, so I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. What you think? I don't really see a point in ending when there's 140 people watching. Kind of unreal. HTML tags is cool. Advanced queries and relationships. Yep, definitely. I think that's number one for me as well. What about a design system as a template? I know there are global settings, but they're not for every element. I'm not sure I see the benefit of a design system as a template off the top of my head, unless I'm missing something maybe. Because like, I don't think you would really want that as a template. You could definitely have a design system page as reference, especially for like internal teams or people that are editing the website. I think that's really beneficial. Amanda says definitely HTML tags, relationships, and advanced queries. Absolutely agree with you there. I haven't been feeling well for like 5 days now, and I'm hoping that me just sitting here blabbing for an hour and a bit will clear it all up. Dragging on the right panel has been a pain. You are totally right about that. That is a very welcome change, so I'm pretty stoked about that. That's about all that I have today, though. So I just can't thank every single one of you enough. If there's anything else you guys wanted me to talk about or potentially show, I'm more than happy to check that out. But I really appreciate every single one of you. This has been almost double, by almost double the most popular stream. Those of you guys that I shouted out earlier for the donations, I just can't thank you enough. Thank you again. Really exciting times for Oxygen, and hopefully for, oh, also I wanted to mention before we get going, there is the Page Builder Summit. Let me pull that up real quick. Page Builder Summit, is it summit.com? Page Builder Summit. Okay, so this is coming up, and your boy is going to be speaking at it. So it's actually on Oxygen, and I was going to say the reason why this came to mind was the fact that Oxygen has been very transformational for me and my business. Obviously, this YouTube channel wouldn't exist without it, but I wanted to mention this because it's actually pretty interesting. So check this out. Oxygen is a sponsor of this particular summit. It's free, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it says get your free ticket. So you can attend this for free, and all of the speakers, I'll just go down to the speakers panel. There's a million of them. They're talking about a broad range of different topics, everything from, business to Gutenberg, translating sites, building sites in a day. But let's get on down. There we are. Look at that. Look at that. There's me. And my topic is around how Oxygen transformed my agency, which in a lot of ways it really did. So that's something that you guys can sign up for. I'm on the first day. I think I'm like 7 p.m. UK time, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty exciting. Amanda, thank you so much. Another one. Just, oh man, I just can't thank you enough. One day, I have this dream ever since, well, for a while now, but I have this like vision and like this dream in my head of like traveling around the world and like meeting up with all you guys in your hometowns, and like just like seeing you guys in person and face to face. I would love to do that. So whenever, we're allowed to get back out and it's safe to do so, I do intend to get out into the world and meet with you guys if you're interested. I would love to do that. So again, thank you, Amanda. But yeah, this Page Builder Summit should be pretty neat. And so if you're interested, my talk is, I think, on, what is it? May the, I have it in my calendar. May the 10th. Yeah, the first day. Amanda says, definitely let's make a plan. I am so down, especially to come to Ireland. I would absolutely love that. Come to France for sure. Definitely going to do that. There's a ton of people in Europe meet up at my house. You actually could. You're welcome to come, and you're not far from the beach. I'll quickly show you. This is, if you guys are interested, this is basically where I live. So like my childhood home, let's see if I have if there's a photo that would be good enough. It's not actually quite in the shot here, but my childhood home is off to the right, like basically like a mile to the right of this image. So this is where I live. So if you guys want to come, I will absolutely host you guys. Anywho, Scotland, absolutely. I'm coming. Every single place I can go to. Singapore, definitely. South Africa, let's do it. I am going to be traveling for a long time, it turns out. I am down to come to Minnesota. I've only stepped foot, actually, I don't even think I made it into Minnesota. I bought a car that was technically from Minnesota, but they drove it across into not Wyoming, Wisconsin. I bought it like across the state line in Wisconsin. Slovenia, perfect. William, it is beautiful here. That's why people come to vacation. And Kevin earlier said that he got married here, which is pretty incredible. Yeah. So that's about all I have today. Finland, yes, absolutely. Finland is basically all the Scandinavian countries I really want to spend a good deal of time in, like in particular Norway as well. Finland, though, because a bunch of famous F1 drivers have come out of there. So if you know me, actually, those are F1 tracks right there. That's the United States circuit, and that's Canada, which is pretty cool. So Nicholas says, got this on my recommended. What is this about? It was about Oxygen. So we were talking about the latest Oxygen 3.8 update, but we're kind of closing out now. And I'm just blabbing, basically. Germany, I'm definitely coming. Visiting Florida. Yeah, so I'm like 5 hours away from the Disney in Orlando. So that's probably most people's reference point in Florida that don't live in the US is where Disney is. So I'm like a 5 hour drive from there, which in American terms is not that far. F1 TV for $5 a month is the best value on earth. Yeah, for sure. Completely agree with you. It's so great, especially as an American, to finally have a reliable F1 source. Jason says, signed up for the summit. Awesome. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. There's lots of other great speakers. I think Elijah did a talk last year, so I'm not sure if he's doing another one this year, but I'm filling the Oxygen space this year, I guess, for the most part. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It should be a good one. I don't get into anything really technical at all in Oxygen. So if you're familiar with it, it is definitely not going to be anything new for you, but I would appreciate the support if you guys have time that day to hang out. The presentation's like 25 or 30 minutes, something like that. And then I hang out and chat afterwards. Sean says, hey, welcome. Glad to see you, even though we're wrapping up here. So today has been incredible for a lot of reasons. So Oxygen 3.8 has come out, the beta has come out. So pretty reliably, this is what we can expect to see in the actual public full release, which is amazing. So a bunch of donations have come through. I thank you guys so much for that. Just absolutely incredible generosity. I really appreciate that. Yeah, William, good point. So the summit is free to access live, and then the replays are paid. So there's also like a premium package that you can buy as well. But anyway, thank you so much for all the donations, all the support. The stream had like 120 something people watching. 147. Holy crap. That is unbelievable. So like I said, we are nearly at double the most popular stream. I think the most popular one before this was, like I said, like 78 or something like that. And now it's 147. So that is nearly double. Right? That is nearly double. Yeah. Math. Chris, no. Yeah, we are kind of wrapping up, but I'm still just hanging out. There's still a ton of people here, so I have no reason to kick off just yet. If you guys had any questions or thoughts. So I was looking at, I'll switch back over to this. This is what we were looking at earlier. So the 3.8 beta 1 changelog. Been kind of a wild stream today, though. I'm just absolutely blown away at what's going on here. Bunch of people. Everyone's so just like supportive. That's one thing I love about this community. But just the support and just the excitement that everybody has. It's amazing. Which means there are still some viewers out there that didn't hit the like button. Yes, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. The summit is the 10th through the 14th of May. So the ticket is free, and you can watch all these talks live, and you can see, of course, there's a ton of different topics. Leanne says, I'm going to watch the accessibility live from yesterday. Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you. I appreciate your donation so much and your support. Every single one of you guys, your support is absolutely incredible. Amanda says, totally, people lift each other up rather than drag each other down. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, we're all technically in the same space, you know, in a certain sense, we're all competitors. But the beauty of this is that there's enough business to go around. We're all over the world, and we can all help each other and support each other, which is like, you know, some people might see other, you know, YouTube people as potential competition. And there's a certain degree of, you know, like, what's the word? Not apprehension, but, you know, I see other people putting out fantastic videos like Kevin and, you know, James and like Stratos and like all these different people. And it's exciting because it's going to just further the community altogether. It's going to make each one of us push each other further, which is really exciting. Z Pepe asks, or hopefully I'm saying that right. What skills do you recommend to get more out of Oxygen, JavaScript, CSS? Yeah, to get more out of Oxygen right out of the box would be CSS and PHP, which of course is tied into HTML. JavaScript is going to help you take it just, you know, to the absolute next level. But you'll find a lot of stuff on the internet is, you know, bits of JavaScript. And if you understand how it's written, it will help you manipulate your site in pretty incredible ways. But of course, JavaScript also can slow your site down. So if you get too crazy with it, then it might not benefit you. Excuse me, might not benefit you that tremendously in the long run. I wonder when they will implement display swap to Google Fonts, because I'm not a big plugin usage fan. I honestly don't even know what display swap is. Font display swap, where is that? Gives the font face an extremely small block period and an infinite swap period. I know some of those words. Hopefully somebody can shed some light on what that is, because I actually don't even know. The font display descriptor determines how a font face is displayed based on whether and when it is downloaded and ready to use. Gives the font face an extremely small block period. That's an interesting one. Kind of a intriguing situation, yeah. Advanced queries are pretty incredible. Alvin, I totally agree with you there. Like I said earlier, I don't even think that people have scratched the surface of what's possible with advanced queries, and I certainly haven't myself. I think the coolest thing so far is the relationship, and then the fact that you can pull images out of your media library, which is kind of neat. And then, what was the other thing? Well, I guess being able to kind of configure taxonomies, you know, have a bit more control over your filtering is pretty neat, and especially because it's dynamic. Alex, $10. Thank you so much. The support, the generosity, the donations, it's just overwhelming, to be honest. I'm not someone that does well with you know, compliments and that sort of support. So I just appreciate that so much. I think that's like donation number 5 or 6 today, which is just incredible. Gabby says, without it, it affects the page load speed and grading of the site, contributes negatively to cumulative layout shift. Oh, okay. Isn't the use of default font before it swaps in the Google font to avoid layout shift? Oh, okay, I see. So swap basically makes that font a placeholder before the Google font loads. Got it. Yep, because instructs the browser to use the fallback font to display the text unit the custom font has fully down. Okay, yeah. That makes sense because that is really interesting. Like, especially like on the Permaslug site, when I run a page speed insights test, it ends up that the some of the like most prevalent issues are Google things. So like the fonts, and then the YouTube video that's on the page, like it says like 600 kilobytes of JavaScript, and it's like, well, it's a YouTube video. I don't even, I don't I don't have any control over that. That's you guys. Kevin says Swiss Army plugin has support for it. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't realize that. So is that just like a toggle you turn on or not, or whatever? Stratos, good to see you. He says, lost the live. Hi, John A. Haven't even seen the alpha update. Cool, you should go check it out. It's really neat. So I actually had it pulled up over here. So there is that. Has anyone ever managed to use an Adobe font without a lengthy flash of unstyled text? Bryn says, and I actually switched away from an Adobe font on the Permaslug site like over a year ago for that exact reason. It was very frustrating. Taylor says, you use Velocity for YouTube video lazy loading? I haven't tried that. I tried it with what do you call it? What is that plugin? Smush, the image compression plugin. It also has, what do you call it? Lazy loading in it. And that kind of worked, but I don't remember it being like the best thing ever. I'm enjoying hanging out and chat with you guys. Hopefully all of you guys are doing something productive in the background and I'm not distracting you from getting work done. I know I like to have different streams up and, different things going on while I'm working, even if I'm not directly watching, and I do like to watch and participate. How soon? Let's take a guess. How long do you think it will take from today, which is obviously the day that the beta 1 comes out, until I guess we're going to have the RC, the release candidate. And then how long until you think the RC comes out? And then how long do you think until the full release comes out? Taylor says, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, says Kevin. That's pretty reasonable, I would guess. Stratos says 1.5 months, probably not a bad length of time considering the release cycle lately. Christian says 15 days. Jason, 3 weeks RC, 5 to full release. Amanda says 2 weeks to RC, 1 week to full. That's pretty ambitious. I mean, the RCs to full are typically pretty quick. You're right. Full release is 30 days, says Christian. Yeah, good guesses. I'm interested to see. We'll see who's right. The day that comes out, we'll probably do another stream and we'll check it out then too. Taylor says, can we build a mini site live based on user suggestions? I mean, I'm down to try it. It might not go very well, but we can certainly give it a shot. So how would that work? I guess we would need to come up with like a singular topic or purpose. Like what would be the goal of the site, or what kind of site would it be? And then how would we control the number of requests and suggestions that would come through? It's a very intriguing idea. I know we talked about like a design, like a user design or like a design competition before in a different stream. So be worth checking out. Gather suggestions and get votes. Yep, definitely. Even better, all of us log into this. That's actually super funny, Bryn. All of us log into the same site and work simultaneously. Yeah, just actually push it to the limit and see what happens when you really do work simultaneously on it. William says, I see a lot in Oxygen Builder 4 based on Vue. Don't know much in terms of benefit. I have no idea where the Vue... Well, actually, I do know where the Vue rumor came from, which is Lewis saying that if they rewrote it, it would be in Vue. But I don't know where the association with Oxygen Builder 4 and Vue came from. I see that fairly often, but I don't know that there's any actual legs for that. Taylor says, get suggestions from comments, create a poll from most popular and vote. Yeah, definitely. That's what Amanda was suggesting. Those are good ideas. With that, I guess that would need to be its own kind of independent stream. Strato says, I always struggle on fonts, what to choose and what looks good. Yeah, that's a big, what do you call it? Big point of contention for me. My wife is a graphic designer and always mocks me for my choices. It's because she loves you, Stratos. But, you know, I actually discovered something recently that was super, super awesome. So Taylor was the one that told me about a website called Pingy, which is like a monthly subscription service for design. So like you can get them to do graphic design for you. But I had them do some website mockups, but there is no option for them to create it in XD or Figma, which is what I would prefer. However, they created a mockup for me in Illustrator, you know, with the AI file. And what I was able to do is export that file as an SVG. And then that SVG I could upload into Figma, and then everything worked perfectly. Every element was like individually manipulatable. Is that a word? Editable, I guess is a proper word. And it just so much easier to use. Figma is so much easier to use for me than Illustrator. So if you ever have an Illustrator, you know, mock-up for your website and you want it to work in Figma, it does. So maybe worth checking that out. I thought that was super, super cool. Oh, did you really, Bren? That's amazing. Bren says, I told Taylor about Pingy. That's hilarious. You should have sent me an affiliate link for that. Figma also imports sketch files. Yeah, I forgot about that. I just don't typically get the mockups done in sketch files, at least from the designers that I typically use. So that's why it seemed particularly relevant for me. Sean says, nice tip. Glad you appreciate that. I don't really have a whole lot else. What do you guys got going on? What else do you want me to talk about? How do you spell their name? Penji is Penji. So like that. I think their plans are like, you know, kind of expensive, but in terms of the turnaround time, it's really quick. Usually it's like a 24-hour turnaround time. You know, I submit something and the next day I wake up and I have it, which is pretty cool. And then there's also things sometimes like I just need a vector graphic of somebody's logo. They don't have a vector for whatever reason, and I just pop it in Pingy, and they turn around and spit it back out within like 24 hours, which is fantastic. That's really tremendous. So it's really a great benefit to clients. You use Lunacy and Figma. I don't even know what Lunacy is, to be honest. Well, obviously I know what that type of Lunacy is. Is it like Design Pickle? Yeah, I'm assuming probably so. Not sure exactly what Design Pickle is, but probably very similar. Just a similar, like, you know, sort of on-demand graphic design service, monthly subscription type offering. Anyway, we've covered a lot today. Oxygen 3.8 beta, all the different things around that. Jason says, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's accessibility convo? That's actually a great question. So if you haven't seen that, yesterday I did an accessibility live stream with Colleen Grotzer. Excuse me, Grotzer. And she is an accessibility expert, which was really enlightening. My biggest takeaway was the fact that accessibility isn't as scary as it seems on the surface. It's very approachable. And you really just need someone like her to help you like digest it down into something meaningful, because the WCAG guidelines are overwhelming in terms of all the different stuff. So it's really applicable to the individual site you're working on, that you need to be aware of the different things that you're doing. So you can have someone like her or another accessibility expert audit your individual site, or she actually has a course as well. And so you can go take that if you want to just do it yourself and, you know, be able to do it, you know, on your own in the future. The only thing that was kind of not alarming, but a little bit unsettling was the fact that there's still no like threshold for when your site becomes accessible or not. So it seems like you're always sort of optimizing it, I guess, which makes sense because as you add more content, then it could potentially change the accessibility factor of your site. But it is something that I am kind of thinking about more. I met someone on this app called Clubhouse. If you guys are not on that, it's really interesting. And she is a completely blind web developer, but she's able to build sites. It's incredible. And so she had a really great insight into you know, what builders out there are accessible. I forget the main one she uses. I forget what it's called, but it just made me kind of reconsider accessibility as like how important it actually is. Strata says, I'm happy that one bad accessibility checker will close this month. Well, I mean, to Colleen's point yesterday on the live stream, she said that most of those accessibility checker tools can't even pick up like a good portion of accessibility problems. Jason, yep, totally right. So there's the law side of it that Colleen couldn't really touch on, like from the legal perspective, and that's going to vary based on country and state and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely an interesting thing. Strata says, I had people ask about passing those tests and it brought errors about everything. Yeah, see, that's exactly it. The errors are just all over the place. And so you don't really have like a reliable way to automatically check it. There's a very human element to making sure your site is accessible, whether it be from someone who is an expert or someone that uses those accessibility tools. Yeah. Also, the fact that like Oxygen is, Oxygen has a lot of the tools for us to be able to create accessible sites. So being able to choose the HTML semantics. So I'll just quickly jump back into Oxygen so I can talk about that in particular. Because we were talking about the semantics and the ARIA attributes, ARIA labels. So like on a section or like a div, for instance, of course you have the tag. And she was talking about making sure that your sections and your headers and stuff are tagged appropriately. So like this section, let's say it's my header, I would change that tag to header. And then let's say you had a div and this one contained your nav. You would want to wrap your nav links in that and then change your tag here to nav, because that's not only important for SEO, but also for accessibility, which is pretty interesting. Jason, so absolutely. I was talking with somebody else about that, and it can't be like a bolt-on, optional add-on. It has to be something that is thought about from the very beginning. So Stratos, yeah, you are right. You have mentioned it to me quite a few times, especially in some of the designs that I've done live on stream. And those, spam in chat, getting rid of that real quick. Those designs, they really need to be assessed by an accessibility expert before the client ever sees it, and definitely before you ever build it in Oxygen. But I know a lot of you guys build directly in Oxygen, so that's not always possible, which I totally get. That's perfectly reasonable. Not everybody has the same workflow that I do. But the point yesterday was that you have to build it into your workflow. And I agree, Jason, wholeheartedly that it can't be like an optional check. It just needs to be something that's just done. So yeah, that's a really great question. And I came up with a lot more questions right after the stream ended as I started to digest some of the stuff we talked about. So perhaps we'll do a follow-up in the future. Definitely worth us considering for sure. Yep, absolutely. It's best for everybody. It's best for you as the freelancer or agency because you can charge more for that. Obviously, it's going to take you more time and your expertise there. It's better for people that need that accessibility support, and it's better for the client because they're just, their site is better overall, and it helps protect them from, or, reduces the chance of them being in some kind of, what do you call it, like lawsuit in litigation. Strata says there are many things that do not pass. You have to forget italics, lists without numbers, justify alignment, and more things. Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not familiar about, just barely scratching the surface. So it's interesting to see that. I know you guys are staring at a white screen. It's not the most interesting thing in the world. Perhaps I'll switch back over here to this so you have something to read, something to look at. Oh no, I'm out of coffee. That might be the end of the stream now. That is a bad situation for me to be in. The day has barely begun and there's no more coffee. I think that is where I'm going to call it though. I sincerely appreciate every single one of you guys watching. We've held over 100 viewers for kind of at a ridiculous amount of time, which is just absolutely incredible. So I really appreciate every single one of you guys watching, all you guys that donated, just really, really incredible support. Can't thank you enough. If you haven't dropped a like on the stream or you haven't subscribed, please do that. Really appreciate it. Elijah, Amanda, Jason, thank you all. Really, really appreciate it. Super awesome to have you in here, Elijah. Amanda, really appreciate your support. You've been pretty much a day one. Bryn says, sign off in your normal accent. Something like, bye. Something like that. Is that what you're talking about? We will see you in the summit. Yep, hope to see you guys all at the Page Builder Summit. And good night, Sean. Good night, everybody. If you're in Europe time, I know it's late for you guys. Thank you for hanging out, as always. And wherever you are in the world, have a great day, great evening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.